boys and girls. Let me say that one more time. Boys and girls, I am so excited. Look who we got. We're going to talk about what's going on. And calm down. Everybody calm down. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Steven Stetson. Thank you. Welcome to the show. I've been so excited all day long to talk to one Steven Stetson. Thank you to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Don. I really wanted to come on the show for a little bit. Ever since I switched things up, I knew I had to hold off for a minute and let you see the action.
Well, I did reach out maybe a couple months back, and you were like, "Hey, got some cool stuff in the works. Why don't you hold on?" And I go, "Please, before Uncle Vince and Triple H, the H Factor, before they take you away, we got to sit and talk." And you were like, "You know what? You're the first guy I'm going to talk to." And my man, my heart was filled with love when you said that. And I am so stoked because, boys and girls, I don't know if you know who Steven Stetson is, but my man is making a mark on the scene as we speak right now. Because last night, and not only that, but the previous Tuesday, my man has made his AEW Dark debut with Tony Vega in a tag team. And then last night, another return. That's the magic word right there. The return to AEW Dark to go one-on-one. I like to call him Orange Stetson. But he is really known as Orange Cassidy. And my man,
didn't
he? I know I'm rambling, but my God, I'm so flippin' excited for what you have got going on in your career right now. So let's just take it from the Ripper from last night, because I know you're on a high. Look at that beautiful smile. You're on a high of wrestling, my friend. You debuted against on your second return here. You went against, for the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen, against Orange Cassidy. Please tell us, take us through some moments, because we want to get that firsthand experience from the guy who went through it. Cal, let me stop speaking and please speak to us. And I'm sorry, Mr. Stetson, please talk to us, the fans. I apologize.
So my time in AEW was cool. I first have to thank All Elite Wrestling and my trainer, Damian Adams, for giving me the opportunity to go down to Jacksonville and wrestle for them. It was really, really so – it's kind of like – I'm stumbling on my words because it's like indescribable. And I want to say a special thank you to Tony Vega, top-notch Tony Vega, for coming down with me as a member of Team Adams Academy. So the whole experience was great, but it was even better that I got to share it with a really good friend.
So not only did you get that experience, and like you said, you got to hit the road, do the drive with a friend to go to AEW and do your thing. And I usually do this on the tail end because we love to talk stories, and I know we've talked stories before. But with such excitement going on, is there a tiny little story from home base to Jacksonville to back to home base? Any road stories, funny tidbits? Look at you smile. I think you might have one. Is there any funny little road story you could tell us, the fans, because that's what we love on this show?
Well, obviously in the Northeast, you know that we had a pretty big snowstorm that was incoming, and me and Tony already had our flights booked we had our flights booked the Friday before we went.
Oh, wow.
And Monday, our flights got canceled, and our plane was originally set to go out by Tuesday, like early in the morning, and it was supposed to be a straight shot through. So we were both scrambling, trying to find different flights. I found one that got to Jacksonville at like 8:30 at night. And when this is the weirdest thing. I've never seen anything like this. I got to the airport, I got the baggage claim, and I look around. All of a sudden, I see a group of Boy Scouts running through the airport, like they've never ran before, like they're booking it. And they stop on a dime and go to attention. And then when I turn to my right, I see a group of Vikings that are dressed up in green, like green Viking gear. And I'm thinking to myself, are these guys going to go to war? I didn't know what to expect. Because I haven't really been on a flight or been at an airport in 5-6 years. So I didn't know what to expect really, but yeah,
Uh, it,
the thing that happened.
you almost got to see the socias and the greasers or whatever go against each other. The Boy Scouts and Vikings. Imagine that if they started tangling it up. Oh my goodness.
That would be a good story.
Fun nonetheless. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, now, the experiences, I'm sure, getting there, the production, very different. And I know it's AEW Dark, but that's giving the talent on the indie scene right now, very active indie scene, might I add, giving them an open door to be on that stage to maybe work their way up. So getting there to the debut, I was super duper uber stoked for one, Mr. Stetson. And then to make your return, I'm like, man, that's just the spark this guy needs. I'm feeling that if you're getting a return, they see something in you. And I'm going to say something very specific. When you came out on your debut, Taz, I always pick up these things because when we see the talents come on, I want to listen to what Taz, what Excalibur, and whoever's commentating. I like to hear their words. My man Taz looked right at you while you come out. Your intro started. You know, you were outside the ring on your first venture, and he described you as a Ron Bass looking kind of guy. And I was like, yes, yes. This transformation that you've gone through, and I'm just going to put it out there, from one Big Cal Stevens to Steven Stetson, my man, it's been a transformation and a half. Yeah. And I know I asked you previous while your transformation was happening, go, hey, man, what the hell's going on with Big Cal? You're like, give me a little bit. I got a little something for you. And I waited like a good, I did not pressure when Mr. Stetson. And my God, that wow factor as a fan, thank you for making me wait because it was beautiful. And I appreciate that. Talk to us about what the hell happened. I've seen you in the ring with an oar in your mouth with long hair. And now look at you. You're AEW Dark. You're looking beautiful. You have a different physique. You're dressing different. Talk to us, my friend.
I think a lot of it came from my personal life, I guess. I don't know. I felt like I was kind of stuck in the mud. I felt like I wasn't really progressing. I knew my in-ring work was progressing, but I wasn't sure if it was translating to the audience. So with that, obviously COVID struck and everything kind of went down and nobody really had an idea how long it would last. So like everybody kind of took effect to it. And after a while, I just kept thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this. I need something new. I need something fresh. I need something that's going to make sure that it sticks and that at least gets my feet off the ground, you know? Because obviously in this life of uncertainty right now, like that's kind of what we need. We need that little spark to get us going. And I feel like transforming from Steven Stetson to transforming from Big Cal Stevens to Steven Stetson really, really paid off for me. Like I needed to cut my hair, I needed to trim my beard, and I needed to make the mistakes that I made previous in order to get to where I am now. And I guarantee you, I'm probably still going to make some mistakes going down the line, but it's all going to be learning experiences, and it's going to be healthy for me. It's definitely going to pick up my mental state of mind, and yeah, just hopefully making me happier every single day.
Now, we were talking off camera before this. Like last night, I was watching. Okay, during fam time, we've got the TV cranking. Whatever is on is on. It could be a TV show. It could be we're trying to catch up on something we miss. It could be wrestling. You never know what we're watching.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. I'm messing around, editing videos. I had a beautiful sit down with one short sleeve Samson last night. Love that guy. Oh my goodness. So I was doing that thing, getting it all set up and all of that. So in between that, I'm actually watching my man. I'm waiting on the YouTube as AEW Dark is running live. And as soon as it hits, I take 2 snapshots. Now, one is, of course, because your first entrance on the debut, you were outside the ring, and I want that name tag there. That makes a big difference. when it comes to the pictures. So this time around, you had your hand up, you had the name right there, the graphic, you were right in the middle of the ring. It was perfect for a screenshot. So I took that screenshot, I shared it on the old face page. Then I took one, and now right before everything started, one Orange Cassidy takes your beautiful cowboy hat, puts it on his head. I take another screenshot and I label it Orange Stetson. Between those two pictures, my friend, you got a lot of reactions going on, and those are the exact reasons why I do those things for the talent, because I don't know what to expect when I share something. I could get one like, or I could get a bunch of likes, or I could get many different mixed bag of reactions. And both of those pictures really sparked a little something for you last night. I want to get that buzz going, and I'm not saying I'm helping you do your thing, but I think just every little spark helps your men and women's career, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does. And I thank you for doing that over the years, even when I really didn't have any name value. I thank you for doing that all the time. I know you're going to keep doing that for everyone. And it's great that you do that, because we need more positivity in people who can do that with their free time nonetheless. So thank you.
You know, I was talking about, because one of the guys that I work with, he goes, so what do you got going on tonight? You're always doing something with some wrestler. What do you got going on tonight? I go, dude, and I start cutting a promo on him. You just don't know what the bleep you got your shit into. And I start doing a promo about, I've got Soul Taker at the beginning, but this guy, and I know not to slight my previous interview today, but I've been waiting to talk to this guy. He's got a lot of things going on, and I've been very excited because I've known him for a long time. And I told him about a very specific picture from maybe about 2 years ago or so in Agawam, Massachusetts. There was a show for Christmas. I forget what they were called because they've only done one show. It was either GSW or CSW, Grand Championship Wrestling.
It was one of the two, yeah.
Yeah,
Grand. What it was.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was Grand Championship Wrestling. There was a whole thing going on, but we were doing some pictures, and it's one of my all-time favorite pictures of all time, ever, forever. And it's one Mr. Stetson holding me like a freaking baby in his arms. It was amazing. So I told him about that. He goes, it sounds like you're going to have fun tonight. I go, absolutely. But what I was doing there is bringing it back a bit, because look at, go ahead, Mr. Stetson.
I hate to interrupt, but
no, please.
As of now, I have just been announced for Invictus in Bloom. So April 24th, you'll be able to catch Steven Stetson in action.
Get the bleep out of here, dude. You know that's only like 2 hours away from me. Invictus Pro Wrestling. I've never been, but dude, it's about time I may take that trek.
Oh, I would love to see you down there, Don.
Yes. Oh, Invictus Pro Wrestling. Thank you so much for adding our very special guest this evening. And big, I keep wanting to revert. Mr. Stetson, thank you for announcing that right now. That's amazing.
Sorry, I had to re-share it on Facebook, but yeah.
That's okay. You got to get it out there. I know you're a busy guy, man. I get it. Now,
it's crazy. I would love to see you there. Even though it is 2 hours, I would love to see you there.
You know, I was a silly goose for like 6 or 7 months straight. I went to XWA Center. Love XWA Center to pieces. All the guys and girls up there that run the show, the talent, everything about XWA Center. If you've never been there, Warwick, Rhode Island, quick plug. You got to check them out. If you don't know them, do a quick little search for them, because those guys really put on a great product. But I would drive 2 hours there every single Thursday, sometimes a Thursday and a Saturday because of their bigger shows. I did that for like almost 8 months straight. So I'm not afraid to take the drives. And they've been announcing some amazing talent on that in Bloom card, Invictus Pro Wrestling out of New Jersey. And now they've added one Steven Stetson. I think the antes went up a little bit. I got to get a hold of Papa Kincaid, and we got to get those tickets rolling for in Bloom. Excellent announcement. Yeah.
Well, you can, because those tickets go really quick. So get them while you can.
Now, Invictus is a very new promotion as of late, because they started And I've had the owner, Alex Aceta, on here. Aceta or Aceta, he's gonna kill me. I always get it mixed up. But Alex, a very fine person we had on here. Had a great conversation with him. Invictus, they started right smack dab at the start of the freaking pandemic, basically.
Yeah.
Right in March of 2020. So I gave them big props for trying to take on such a big venture. And look at them going now. They're getting the likes of
I was actually at his first show too. I tagged there with Matt Videz, Matt Vides. We were the outdoors.
Oh, yes, the outdoorsman against the Even Stevens, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, it was a variation of them. It was one of the sweater guys, but it was
very. It was the Flannels against the Argyles.
It was. The Argyles got the better of us that day.
Hey, you can't win them all, Mr. Stetson. You can't win them all.
You can't.
Big announcement, Invictus Pro Wrestling, adding Steven Stetson to their very fine card they're building in Bloom. If you don't know who Invictus is, get on the socials. No matter what you got, get on there. They're all over the place. You'll see all their good stuff.
Facebook, everything. They're probably on TikTok too.
Yeah. I want to say who isn't on TikTok, but I'm not. I'm staying away from TikTok.
I have a TikTok, but I never use it. My trainer tells me, my trainer's obsessed with TikTok. He tells me to use it. He's like, come on, you can blow up from this. So I'm like, okay, I'll try to make one, but like, I just never get around to it.
Well, I know Mr. Stetson behind the scenes like to have some fun. That is first and foremost. We've never not had fun at any event that we've been at together. So I mean, TikTok, it is kind of silly because you're kind of doing these things and you got to bring a lot of pizzazz and a lot of character and a lot of funniness, and just kind of maybe breaking down a barrier to that you weren't comfortable doing. If you want to jump into that TikTok scene, I think that's what you got to do. Now, me,
yeah,
I'm a jackass and I can run my mouth all day long. Maybe I should join the TikTok.
Pull up quick from that.
Oh, man. Now, Mr. Stetson, I want to just swing back, though, to last night on the AEW Dark match with Orange Stetson. Because now, I love saying it. I'm sorry. Now, I bring that up because he took your hat and put it on him. And that was the first thing I thought of. I go, holy crap, it's Orange Stetson. I actually popped right off of my couch and I stood right up and I took a screenshot. I go, holy crap, it's Orange Stetson. I can't wait to share this shit. And,
I hope they take my hat off and put it on his head. When I finally got my hat back, he kicked it out of my hands and it went flying.
We were going to break that down, and I'm so glad you mentioned that because he really forcefully did a drop kick with his hands in his pocket, might I add, into your chest with your hat and stuff. I go, oh my God, Mr. Stetson's hat is dead. He's going to have to buy a new one. Is your hat okay?
Yeah, my hat was, I might not be able to wear it too much more often, but don't worry. I always got backup hats. I'm ready.
Because that thing took a bump, if you will.
Oh, yeah. The girl in the front row kept trying to reach for it when it was in the ring.
And not only that, though, he kind of, I don't know if he was mocking you or what was going on there, but he was doing those kip-ups, those multiple kip-ups while his hands were in his pocket, and I don't mean to bring up bad memories. If those are I apologize. But not only that, once he got back up, the referee puts the sunglasses back on him. He thinks he's going to get another one on you. He hits the ropes. What's our guy do? He puts that big boot right in his face. That must have felt really good, baby.
Oh, yeah, it did. I got right off of his face. And what would do? Give him that elbow right to the forehead.
And Taz even said it right off the ripper. He's like, he knocked the sunglasses right off his face.
Yeah. Taz was saying a bunch of stuff on commentary that was getting me. In my first match, my tag match with Tony against Top Flight, when I was on the middle rope and I was posing towards the camera, he said, oh, he smells nice. Yeah, I can smell him from here.
Yes. He's like, Stetson, is that a cologne? I remember that.
It was crazy to have that happen, but yeah.
Yeah. But see, those are the things, though, Mr. Stetson, is it's not all about what you're doing in ring. And I know you're very nervous being on a different platform. You're very nervous walking into this. You are with your Goomba, if you will, Tony Vega,
Hmm.
from Camp Adams. So I'm sure that made it a little more comfortable.
Yeah, it
But
did.
you know
Definitely
what?
helped.
Yeah, absolutely. But looking back at the finished product and hearing these things, that's what really you get to sit back and watch how it really how it's given, how it's presented, if you will, once you're done, because you're in that ring and I'm sure it's just like a flash.
Yeah, kind of. You're not you're not really paying attention to what's going on outside. You're just paying attention on, okay, how do I get him? How do I win? That's all I was really focused on. But yeah, once I watched it back, I figured, I could have done this better. Maybe this is where I made my mistake, and that's probably why they won. But
Hey, those are the experiences
Mhm.
though. If you're not in these matches, you're not gaining these experiences.
Yeah.
But they talk about quality reps, getting those quality reps under your belt to elevate your career little by little by little. It just takes those little pieces. My man, you just went against Top Flight and Orange Cassidy back-to-back weeks. I mean, talk about quality reps, man.
It like I said, it's kind of indescribable. But the one thing I do have to say from that is I'm blessed that I ever got an opportunity to be on the All Elite Wrestling stage, and I'll remember that forever. But I got to work 10 times harder. Just because I got there for 2 matches doesn't mean I'll end up going back one day, you know? So I got to make sure
Right.
I put my work. I go to training every day. I got to study film. I got to do whatever I got to do just to maintain that and get better at the same time.
Always a never-ending learning experience in wrestling. Always honing your craft is a thing that they say.
It's a it's really a 24/7 thing, and if you're ever thinking about being a wrestler, just have that in mind. It's a 24/7 thing. It's never stopping. Even when you're outside of the ring, you might not think it at first, but take that second to realize, because I realized this throughout the journey of COVID. And I realized like some of the things that I was like putting into my body, like diet wise, like wasn't really healthy for me. Well, I'm still working on that every single day. I've gotten a lot better than what I was last year and a half ago, maybe. And it's just constant changing, constant moving forward. It's a grind. It's a real grind. It's not it's a sprint. I'm sorry. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm fumbling
Yeah,
on my.
absolutely. Because you have to, and we talk a lot about having the mindset and the
Mhm.
physical part together. You got to have both to get that trainer rolling. Speaking of a diet, though, did you have to get yourself a personal trainer or a nutritionist, or like because you're like, I got to make some changes in my life. How do I do this? Or did you just do this on your own with maybe some feedback?
I kind of did it on my own with a little bit of feedback. I am going to work on getting a nutritionist, and I might want to look into getting a fitness coach. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. I don't feel like I struggle too much at the gym, but like, hey, you could always get more help wherever you need it. You know, I've actually ventured into doing more yoga recently too, which is honestly like helped me out. It's like mellowed me out, and like it's kept my head so nice. Like I can't describe
Wow.
it, because like every single yoga session I do, I always feel better. My body always feels better. My mind always feels better, and like my breathing, I love it.
Uh, and I'm gonna sound dated here, but I've seen a commercial with Billy Blanks. You see him doing his thing on the commercial there for Geico or whatever the hell it is.
I don't believe so. I haven't had much time to watch TV recently.
I know you've been a busy guy. Believe me, I definitely know. But you do know who Billy Blanks is, right? The
Yeah.
Tybo guy from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh, a Tybo guy. He's pop, 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 pop. Get it, go, get it, go, get it. My man just needed to kind of pull it back a little bit, get some Zen going, throw a little yoga in his life.
Yeah.
And my man, looking great, sounding great. Now, please talk to us about the direction, because you could go a million directions in wrestling. Now, you are basically, when you were Big Cal Stevens, you're a cowboy kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
You dressed a way differently than you do now. You're more polished, if you will, than looking. You had the longer hair. You came out in the flannel stuff and whatnot. But now it's a little more polished look. Why this direction and not maybe 999,000 other things to do?
With this direction, I feel like I could be more myself while still stepping outside of the box and being someone completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the main thing that I really wanted out of wrestling, is to be able to be myself and kind of tip the border a little bit, because I don't know, that's just the most entertaining part about wrestling. It really, really is.
Yeah, because there's not much how do I put awe factor, because we've seen so much as fans, as
Mm-hmm.
talent growing up as fans and seeing the evolution of wrestling. So there's almost a very small window of awe factor, if you will, in wrestling. There's a lot of guys that want to see 13 destroyers and a few 450s and whatnot, and that's what they want to see maybe throughout a match. And
Mm-hmm.
to try to maybe get that shock factor, that awe factor of wow, and get those pops. But you did it very simply. You took some time off. You kind of little hiatus, if you will. You
Yeah, I
didn't.
did shy away
Yeah.
from everybody on social media, Instagram, Twitter, everything. I fully take responsibility for that, but I needed to work on myself.
No, very well done, because where I'm driving with this is, as a fan, and I know we already spoke about it, but it was like, hey, man, what's going on with you? It's been a while. You're like, hey, I got something in the works. Hold up. I go, okay. And then a little time went by, and it was like, hey, man, what's with this thing going on? You're like, hold on, I got to look. Hold on. I go, okay, I got you. But we've gotten to this point where when you presented who Steven Stetson was, there was a name change, there was a look, your gear, a mindset. My man, you did it very simply. Took some time off, changed your gimmick a little bit, and presented it just like the surprises that we love in wrestling. You did it old school, my friend. And I applaud you for that, for not giving me no sneak peeks and just making me wait as a fan, because, my God, I couldn't wait to tell, especially my dad. That day after work, I'm like, Dad, you've got to see what the hell just happened. So I applaud you as a fan, because you gave us that shock factor, that awe value, if you will, by not doing a whole lot. It didn't have to be a transition where you logged it or blogged it, if you will. You waited until the right time. You presented it. I'd say it was perfectly done, my friend.
That's the thing. I felt like before all this ever happened, I was just telling everybody everything, and it just wasn't really getting me anywhere. So I needed to start taking the direction into my own hands and really, really being hands-on with that. And I can't thank my trainer Damien enough for it, because he's helped me a lot throughout the way. And the only way from here is up. The only real way from here is up. And I plan on going through the moon.
I see nothing but the moon for Mr. Stetson, because with you taking that time off, getting your mind right, getting your body transformed a little bit, changing your gear, maybe even just tweaking your move set, maybe taking stuff out or adding stuff in, or slowing stuff down, or whatever you have done in the interim to get to this point. It's got you on AEW Dark twice back-to-back weeks. So you're doing something right, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, you talk about Team Adams over there. You guys and girls have a lot of fantastic talent that's around there. I want to pull one name out of the Jenga puzzle, if you will. Do you mind if I do that, my friend?
Pull as many names out of the Team Adams hat as you'd like.
One Ray Jazz. Now, look at that smile. Excuse me. I bring him up because you guys would share, Ray Jazz and yourself. I've seen these little training things, very quick snippets, if you will, black and white from a low angle on the mat. And I loved every single one you guys were putting out. But I seen you guys doing your thing. And I absolutely love seeing that because it gives us just a snippet behind the scene of always training. There's no days off around here. Like you said, if you want to be a wrestler, it's a 24/7 thing. But Ray Jazz, give us some words on Ray Jazz because that guy has been nothing but respectful to me. And you smile like there's something behind that smile. What's going on there, my friend?
Ray's probably one of my closest friends in this business. He's kind of a goofball when we're training. He's probably the funniest person in the room, but you can't knock the kid's work ethic. You can't knock anything he does because he trains really hard. He was an NYU All-American. I believe he's going to kill me for getting this wrong again. But I believe I think he had over 140 wins in his collegiate career, and that takes some like serious like conditioning, training, and he's probably got one of the best mental mindsets out of anybody I've ever met. So like I kind of look up to him like for a little bit with that.
I think it's a fine name to kind of pick the brain of because, like you just said, his accolades speak for themselves. Getting into professional wrestling, I think
he made his AEW Dark debut not too long ago. So
yeah, not only that, but even previously going against one Gallagher in 205 Live not that long ago.
Yeah.
They used it. They use his whole last name, and my goodness, did he get some jazz about that? No pun intended. It said Ray. I want to. It's been a little bit though. Ray Jazanowski or Jackanowski or some Jazwanowski or Jazwakowski or some crap like that.
Jazikov?
Yes, Jazikov. Yes, I'm telling you. He got a little something from his peers on that. I will say, not that they weren't giving him love. I mean, they were giving him nothing but love, but there was some fun inserted into that.
I think that's the only time he's ever actually used his full last name in wrestling too. So
yeah, hey, that was probably on them anyways. He probably told them Jazz and they didn't write it down.
It happens.
Hey, Uncle Vince can do what he wants. It's his juggernaut. Now, we've spoken about your transformation. We've spoken about getting that pump, that call up, if you will. And I know it's not, you're not signed to no contract and nothing like that. But my man, it's a big deal. And we've all, and I hope that you've noticed, and I know we were talking about the 2 pictures that I put up last night. I hope that you see the love that surrounds the media. And when you're sharing your stuff on the gram and the Twitter and all of that, you're getting a ton of love. And I'm assuming you are super stoked for your peers to give you that.
It kind of means the world to me because I never really knew how many people's lives I've affected throughout like the course of my wrestling life. And it's kind of crazy that once I went through this transition, I got so much support from everybody, even people that I haven't heard from in years. And some people who just wanted to reconnect and say, hey, man, I see what you're doing. Good stuff. I appreciate it. And I don't know, because it was like when I took that little hiatus, I was like wondering, like, well, I don't know if people are actually going to like care when I come out with this. Like, it was weird because like it was mostly anxiety driven, but it was like, I'm not sure how they're going to feel. Maybe they won't like it. Maybe they don't even notice that I took a hiatus, but I'm glad a lot of people noticed because like, yeah, I never really knew how many people I affected. Like when you threw that video up on Facebook, I think it was just over a week ago with Sammy, Gina, who else was it? Ichiban and Flash?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of I can't even say how I feel. That was awesome. That was awesome. Just to hear all the positivity that came out, it was, man, I love that.
Both of us, I feel, because my smile is starting to kick my ass over here because I haven't stopped since we've been talking, Cal, because Mr. Stetson, because I've just been so stoked for you, and I'm sorry I keep confusing your name, and And when this goes out and Uncle Vince picks you up, I hope he doesn't monetize me for saying these things back and forth here. Uh, but I've known you only as one guy, one character, if you will, this whole time that we've known each other. So it's taken me a little bit. Even when I'm typing it up and tagging you on stuff, I'm already have the big Cal in front of it, and I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta erase that. So I'm still trying to get used to it.
That's fine. Sometimes I still go to my big Cal email whenever I need to go to my other. It happens. I'm not mad.
Oh man, are your peers calling you Steven Stetson on the reg? Are they mixing it up? What's going on there?
Sometimes, a little 50-50. You know, it's not gonna happen overnight, but it'll happen eventually.
Now, I hope you didn't know. I hope you knew that we were not going to get out of this little soiree without talking about something very specific and how I met you in the first place. First off, the dirtologist Dirtbag Dan, and then second off, cousin Johnny Chill, and I'm going to revert back to your OG character, Big Cal Stevens. You guys were known as the Filthy Family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my friends, every single time, and I'm not sitting here licking your hiney by any stretch of the imagination. My friend, you guys, as a collective, always entertained, gave us in-ring, good in-ring stuff. The fans always left satisfied when the Filthy Family were on an event. I know that's a lot of fun to look back at, but then you see where you're at now. And I shared a picture with you, if I'm not mistaken, not that long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, and I spoke about it.
Word in my mouth.
No, but it was a transformation. It was from when we were at Altone's in Jewett City, and it was that promo with your long hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the transformation. And I asked you, and I didn't want you to get all bent or whatever. So I asked the talent when I do stuff, and I put the difference between Big Cal and Steven Stetson. And I know I've talked a little bit about the Filthy, and here we are now to Steven Stetson. Can you describe to us, and I know there is a transformation that you just did not expect would either A, like you said, catch on, or even do anything for you. You could have just got lost in the shuffle. You never know. Could you talk to us about how it feels to go from, and this is absolutely zero slight, because the Filthy Family was absolutely money every single show, but you felt it was time for a different direction. You took some time off, and here we are. How are you feeling right now by taking that time off and looking back to where you are now?
I definitely needed it. Nothing against Dan or Johnny, but like in my heart, I kind of knew that I was set out to do like something. I didn't get into wrestling just to sit around and collect popcorn. Like I got into wrestling because I saw an avenue and where I could showcase my talents and my personality and to hopefully share the big stage one day with somebody. And Dan right now, over the last year, he's gone through a lot. I actually moved him into his new house. I think I moved him in when COVID was going on. Johnny's kind of taken some time back too. Dan just had the baby. It tagging with them it brought in a lot of my favorite moments in wrestling, but they were also a bunch of learning experiences too, because I kind of learned from Dan. I learned a lot. I'm not gonna shy away from it. I definitely learned a lot, like traveling with Dan, wrestling with Dan, and I'm never gonna forget about the experiences that I learned from him. And with Johnny's like my brother. Like I called that kid yesterday. He didn't pick up. I called Dan today too, and he didn't pick up. So I guess it's heat.
Oh wow!
No heat. Heat. Yeah, they got their own lives. They're busy. They've given me nothing but support ever since I kind of switched everything up. So I got to thank them for that. Yeah, definitely gonna drive with them again on the road. I don't know about wrestling in the ring with them. We'll see what the future holds for us because nobody knows what the future holds. But yeah, more.
And there's always a question mark on wrestling. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You never know.
Now, one of my favorite things, I share a lot of videos. I share a lot of pictures and stuff. But one of my all-time favorite videos that recurs, when I do the Kincaid File things, and we do these little promos pre-event, during intermission, post-event. Those are some of my favorite times. Um, there was one in the back of the Elks Lodge, and instead of saying the Filthy Family, I said the Dirty Family, and you guys got so triggered. And when you all start coming and throwing that heat on me, Mr. Stetson, I gotta tell you, some of my all-time favorite times is when you guys give me crap and just shove it down my throat. And I don't know why it's my favorite, but I just love those times.
Oh, geez, I remember that too. That was fun.
But that's what we do, though. We walk away from these events, and I speak about it all the time. It's these little things that are branded in our brains, that these little memories that we walk away from every single show. May it be in ring, may it be talking to the guys in the back, may it be sitting at the bar having a drink after the show, may it be hanging out with some fans during intermission or post event. There's always something, maybe two or three things that you take away from you from every single event. And there's so many, and I've only got one brain cell left, so I try to keep what I can with me. But fantastic times. I would never change them for a million years, my friend. Never, never, never.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So let's talk about where the future goes now, because we've talked the present, we've just kind of touched upon the past. Now, the future for one, Steven Stetson,
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to brand that name, he's trying to brand that look and move forward, getting that platform of AEW Dark. Invictus has just announced you. Saddle up. There's going to be an announcement at 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And look who it was. Why didn't I think of that when they said saddle up? I'm just not that bright. We know that. But you got things going on still on that indie scene. We're going to be seeing you on the indie scene. But could you please tell us, the fans, what's the end game for Steven Stetson? Is it New Japan? Is it WWE? Is it ROH, AEW? Do you have an end game for a promotion, or whoever knocks on my door, I'm ready, baby?
All of them. Obviously, I want to be able to take my talents all around the world. I want to be able to wrestle for New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE, AEW. I did get to wrestle for Northeast Wrestling a few weeks ago, which was really cool. My match against Wrecking Ball was awesome. Yeah, and I was a part of the 25th anniversary Battle Royal, so that was really, really fun. Yeah, the future is definitely bright. The future is definitely picking up really fast, a lot faster than I ever thought it would. But it's an adjustment, and you got to be able to work on the fly with it.
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned the Studio Wars, because Northeast Wrestling, they started doing these Studio Wars because of what's, again, wrestling evolves. You've got to do something to get your talent to work and get some product out there. You can get that on High Spots, if I'm not mistaken, the High Spots network, correct?
Yes, you can, yes. High Spots, another network. Oh, I believe if you go to the Northeast Wrestling page, you could get a subscription off there, too.
Yep, that as well. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! He's made his NEW debut. Not only that, but one of the mainstays, Wrecking Ball Legursky, another guy who's, again, taken the time, thought about, okay, I want the name, but what I'm doing isn't maybe working for me right now. What do I got to do? I'm going to start changing something here. And look at what that guy's gone through. What a transformation himself. I mean, holy cow.
That's a dude I've seen wrestle at a lot of big places. Like, I've seen him wrestle for Impact before. I'm pretty sure he's made an appearance on AEW. I could be wrong on that, but I know I've seen him wrestle all over the indies too. The dude's an absolute monster. He's awesome though. Cool dude.
Really cool. Yeah, that's another one though. Really good guy behind the scenes. You know, one of the good guys, if you will. You know. Now, you've made your NEW debut. You've made your AEW debut. I mean, things are picking up, my man. Yeah. Do you need people? I mean, do you got to hire a secretary right now? I mean, do you need people? Can you keep up with what's going on in your life? Maybe soon.
Maybe soon. But I do have some things in the works, and I'm not gonna spoil it just yet. I'm gonna keep my cards close to my chest on that one because like I said, things are picking up really, really fast. Things are picking up faster than I really expected, and who knows where the rest of this year is gonna take me.
I can't wait. I hope it's TV. We got to see some Mr. Stetson on TV more. You know, because and I know I revert to the dark, your dark experiences, but if you look at that, when you're watching live, we're talking like up in upwards 10s, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You just never know how many numbers are coming in when they're watching this live, and it does just fly right in.
Yeah.
You had an awful lot of eyes on you in the past 2 weeks of working just those 2 matches. So I know that you're going to be getting many more knocks on your door. So,
social medias have been blowing up like crazy.
Yes, absolutely. Amazing what's going on with Mr. Stetson. Now, I know it's very fresh in what's going on. Your juices are flowing, if you will. And there's a lot of excitement going on. And, you know, it's hard to keep it grounded, if you will. But if there's anything I know, my man Steven Stetson is a grounded guy. So you're taking this all in stride. He's not getting starstruck. He's not getting awestruck. He's doing his thing. He's staying professional. And I just can't reiterate enough that I can't wait to see what the future brings for you because, I mean, look at the beginnings right now. Yeah. It's just going to be more and more and more. Uncle Vince, if you're watching Stir the Pot, grab this guy. You know, I mean, I highly doubt that Uncle Vince is watching, but you never know. Now, I'd like to talk about the character because you kept the same theme, if you will, of the cowboy stuff.
I did, yes.
Why not go to some? Oh, go ahead, please.
So, the Stetson family legacy started back in 1863, I believe, when a man by the name of John B. Stetson, with $10 to his name, rented out a room in the back of a building in West Orange, New Jersey. And he made the very first ever cowboy hat. And I believe, I might be wrong on this, but in 1919, we bought out a factory in Philadelphia and took our business up. And yeah, been a thing ever since.
Wow.
And if you look online, the hats aren't cheaply made, you know? They're some nice hats. They're top quality.
Yeah, not at all. That's why when Orange Stetson drop kicked it, I was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I can't believe that
happened. The wealth of the Stetson family is going to push you to heights that you've never known.
Yes, it will. And more recently, it's not really a matter of the wealth. Don't get me wrong; it is a factor, but I feel like people are forgetting the name of the Stetson legacy. And with how I present myself, I really do plan to bring an age of refinement back into professional wrestling. That's what I've always wanted to do. The 80s have been a lost decade in film study today because people don't necessarily go back and watch what they should. And it's kind of sad to me because we had some of the greatest workers. I will never stop talking about Dick Murdoch. I love Dick Murdoch. He's one of my favorite people ever to watch. Dick Murdoch, Barry Windham, Blackjack Mulligan. We're going back further with that, but yeah. It's just I really do plan to bring back that age of refinement into wrestling.
So is that going to be like a tagline, age of refinement, Steven Stetson?
Yes, sir.
Mighty fine there, my friend.
Yeah.
You're picking and choosing smartly, if you will, while you're bringing this to the table, not rushing it, you know?
Yeah. You can't give them what they want right away. You gotta warm it up a little bit.
Yeah. Now, I know you like to do a promo and such. As Steven Stetson is evolving here, are you going to have a mouthpiece with you, or are you going to be one of those, just strong, tough-nosed guys that doesn't have a whole lot to say, and my guy is going to say it all for me? Or are you just going to be your own man and do your own talking?
I would like to do my own talking, but there is somebody that I would let talk for me. And don't get me wrong, he's not a popular figure, but probably I would definitely let Jim Cornette talk for me. There's not a better talker out there than Jim Cornette.
With nowadays environment, atmosphere, there's a line drawn right down the center. You're either pro Jim Cornette or you're anti Jim Cornette. I don't know what the hell happened. The evolution of wrestling. Here we are. Mighty fine name. Again, thinking smart, my man. That guy can talk. That guy can hype.
I would never be able to out-talk that dude. Never. I wouldn't even want to try.
No. Wow. I did not see that coming at all from a mile away. Wow. Very, very excellent, smart pick. If you hate him or love him, Jim Cornette, he's got a mind. Okay, let's just. It is what the bleep it is. I mean, he's got a mind.
He has a mind, and he has a way that he thinks about professional wrestling, and that's fine for him. Whether you hate it or love it, just let it be.
And I also noticed, though, you're taking that old style, like you just mentioned, Barry, Murdoch, and such. You're taking that old school feel, and you're bringing it to the table, not only with the way you're presenting your character, but that big boot, my man. Oh, that was money. So those things that you're doing. That clothesline, I'm going to start calling you JBL because that's like a clothesline from hell. So you're presenting.
One of the dudes from Top Flight, the spine buster, the cow buster, as I like to call it.
Yes, the cow buster. And, we did speak right after that match was done. Maybe not too long. I was like, dude, the very first thing I said to you was that spine buster from beginning to end, when you started it, the movement, the drama, the way you moved your body and slammed them down on the mat, everything from beginning to end on that one move, absolute money. Loved it. But that was something that kind of caught my eye, and I pointed it right out. It's that old school, though. You're bringing that age of refinement as you're bringing that vibe of wrestling. It's not just a tagline. You're bringing everything with you. So my question is, you've taken this thing and you are 1,000% invested. I don't see no turning back from this, Mr. Stetson.
None whatsoever. And that's the way you have to be when you have something that you have a good feeling about. You have to go all in with it. Like, I feel like I made that mistake before where I had something that I really liked, but I didn't really go all in with it. And then everything just kind of started melting and everything was unraveling in front of me. And it's like, I can't control the uncontrollable, but that's something I could have been more on top of. And now that I'm more on top of what I'm doing, and now that I'm having more fun, now that I'm happier and only going up from here, It's just a whole world of difference.
Now, how, because I know you've changed your name, has your media's changed as well? How do we find you? Because the ones that know you, we're looking for something else. But the ones that aren't very familiar or new fans that are getting to know you, where do we find your medias?
So you can find me at Instagram and Twitter. Hold on, I got to pull it up because there's a few underscores in there. Instagram and Twitter at Steven, Steven underscore Stetson, Stetson, on both Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Now, the YouTube, do you have, because I don't think I've ever seen, even previous, a YouTube channel for where you have your footage presented. Is that something that you might be doing in the future?
Potentially, maybe. Potentially, once I figure out how to use YouTube. The one thing I didn't learn throughout quarantine, I still haven't learned how to really figure out like technology. Like but
that reverts me back to, you're gonna have to get some people, my friend.
Oh yeah, that I'm definitely gonna get some people for. I'm trying to figure out how to set up some emails so that they go directly to my phone. I still can't figure it out.
Oh man, I know one guy that's reverted back to the flip phone. He's sick of smartphones. He's actually gone back to a flip phone.
I don't know if I could do that though. That would be too hard to figure out.
First off, if I gotta hit the number 2 3 times to get one letter, it's going to take an awful long ass time for me to get that text done because oh man, no, I could never do it. No, we've covered a lot of track. We've talked about many a topic. Is there anything in your experience and your transformation in these past few months here? Is there anything that we haven't touched upon that you'd like to bring to the table?
Honestly, I think we covered all of it. It's just the mental aspect and making sure that you're on top of everything because we all deal with our own personal issues. Like, I have a lot of anxiety that I kind of pushed to the side for a while and I never really dealt with up front. That played into more of a reason why I did go away from social media. I did stop like reaching out to people at a time because I felt like something needed to change and I wasn't sure what. And I was always freaking out in my head about it. But once you figure it out, it's kind of a nice feeling to let go a little bit and be yourself and have fun because that's all people ever want to see from you.
What an excellent message to finish this interview, Mr. Stevens. This was different than what we've done in the past. Let me tell you, boys and girls, very different than what we've ever done in the past. But I knew going into this, it was going to have to be different. I had to kind of present myself the same, but just a smidge differently. And really, because we wanted to sit down and be serious for a change with Mr. Stetson, but still have a lot of fun at the same token. And again, I haven't stopped smiling through this whole time that we've been talking because you look fantastic. Like you said, getting your head straight is probably even more important than getting in the gym and getting your physical prowess taken care of because you need this. Without this, you kind of you don't know where to go and you find yourself running in circles. You look good. You sound amazing. That smile is gorgeous. And I know that the future is very bright for our friend Steven Stetson. And I am so glad that we got a hold of you before either Mr. Khan or Uncle Vinnie Mac snagged you up on the scene because once that happens, I mean, talk about an appearance fee, baby. I mean, holy cow.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Let's hope that happens sometime in the future. Let's hope.
Hey, and if it doesn't though, Mr. Stetson, and I'm not saying it won't, but I know you're gonna persevere, keep doing your thing because let's just be real, though. It doesn't happen overnight. And like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I'm going to take one name before we end this, just for a little perspective, if you will.
Go for it.
Miss Mercedes Martinez. She's been in the game for 19 years. She's out of the Waterbury, Connecticut area, was trained under Jason Knight and many other, under the tutelage of, if you will. She's been in the game for 19 years.
Yeah.
If you don't persevere, if you don't stick with it, if you don't, especially take from what you're doing right now, and it's working amazingly for you, don't shy away from it. You know, going full steam ahead. And I use her for an example because now we're talking, she's like 20 years, 21 years in her tenure. She's been signed up with the NXT. She's doing some really, really cool stuff. But I know even in between, if you don't get that big call in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, mark my words, I'm stirring the pot. On March 3rd, 2021, my man's getting signed, period. We just don't know when, but it's going to happen.
I actually met Mercedes Martinez. I don't even know if she would ever remember this. When WrestleMania came around to New Jersey, she was on the UPWA event that was in my hometown. And I went around hanging up the posters and all that stuff for the promoter and did what I needed to do. And I actually got to have a full-on conversation with her. And I realized, like, man, this is why you don't give up. This is why you don't stop grinding. Because she's 19 years, 20 years, something like that. And she's still grinding and she's still going. And she's one of the best athletes, not just women athletes, one of the best athletes in the entire world. That's amazing. Like, if that doesn't have a spark in you, I don't know what will.
That's the name of this. If that doesn't put a spark in you, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
You gave me the title right at the end. That was beautiful. Mr. Stetson, thank you so much for spending the time with us. Very informative. I was so amped up today at work. Oh, I love you, my friend. Gorgeous. I'm going to make a gif of that. To take the time with so much excitement going on in his life right now, boys and girls, we cannot appreciate that enough. To talk to us, the fans, give us some info, what's going on, where this came from. We are so glad to see him come back out. He was in a cocoon, but now he's a butterfly. And look at what we got. One Mr. Steven Stetson. I love it. This Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Steven Stetson. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Don.